Hi, I'm Maddie and welcome to Let's Talk Home Edition. I'm here with Dawn Wilding, who's going to be talking about gut health. So Dawn, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Dawn and I've been living in Stowmarket all of my life, and I have a complementary or alternative or even integrated health centre in the centre of Stowmarket that's been there for 15 years. And for the last 30, I've studied and worked with natural health and natural medicines. And my passion at the moment is gut health.
What do we actually mean by gut health and why is it so important to understand?
Both inside and out, our bodies harbour a huge array of microorganisms, and bacteria are the biggest players, but there should also be an eclectic mix of single cell organisms like fungus, virus, and all the other microbes. Now, if we take an imaginary trip down through the digestive system, down into our gut, and imagine all of those little microorganisms sloshing around in a mulch of fermenting food, that is our gut biome and our microbiome that everyone's starting to really recognise and talk about now. Now, the health of that seething mass is very much dependent on what we eat, but research has shown over and over again that a species-rich gut ecosystem is more robust and better able to help us cope with life, with our immune system, and it will defend us against daily environmental changes and biological changes. The reduction in the quality of our gut flora, though, is due to the fact that many of us in the West now eat a really narrow diet. It's very repetitive, and although the average supermarket, it appears there's hundreds and thousands of different food items in there, when you actually look at the label, they're all made up of very similar things like wheat, sugar, corn, soya. So your row of biscuits, your row of bread. As far as our gut is concerned, it's just the same old stuff. And in order to stay healthy and serve us well, our gut biome really needs fibre. And in the last 100 years or so, our fibre intake has reduced dramatically because all our food now is so highly processed and refined that by the time it gets down into where our gut microbiome is, there's nothing left for our gut microbiome to feed off, because it's all being just absorbed further up the digestive tract. So if you imagine what's going on in the world when we talk about the ecosystems breaking down and the great expanses of extinction, it's exactly the same as what's happening in our gut.
So what does the health of our gut have to do with our mental health?
Our gut flora actually is responsible for 70% of our immune capacity. So that's really important. So if our gut's not healthy, our immune system isn't as robust as it should be. Together with the food we eat, the residents of our gut directly affect our mental health. The gut bacteria are closely linked to the central nervous system and a number of other channels in direct contact with our head. So our gut talks to our brain all of the time. So everything our gut bacteria is doing is registered and carefully noted by the nerve cells around the gut, and then it transports itself to the brain via the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is like a two-way central highway that it just constantly sending information and messages backwards and forwards. And research shows that stress is intimately tied to our guts. So our bodies respond to stress with a fight and flight system. And when something scary or worrying happens, our palms might get sweaty and you might feel a heart rate quicken, or you might, when the perceived danger goes away, immediately we revert back to being calm and healthy. But just 20 minutes of stress can really alter the health of the microbiome in our gut. So if we're constantly stressed, the microbiome continues to be adversely affected, and then very soon the high cortisol that comes out of when we're stressed starts to create inflammation, and then that becomes chronic. So there's some kind of chronic inflammation going on. At very young people, this isn't just old people that have inflammation, really young people, this will be happening as well. And if the gut microbiome isn't healthy and doesn't contain types of good bacteria, the immune system will be less effective. So if you're getting constant irritation and inflammation and the immune system isn't able to do its job properly, then the inflammation continues, and we all know that inflammation really leads to depression. So then you've got stress, depression, anxiety, inflammation, bad diet, immune system, all of those things are all working together. But bear in mind that vagus nerve giving the messages from the gut to the brain, back from the brain back to the gut all the time. So if your gut is unhealthy, your brain won't be feeling great either. A bad diet also includes a lot of stimulants like caffeinated drinks, which is so popular with everybody nowadays. And if you smoke or take a lot of alcohol, and one of the main things is sugar. Sugar is so destructive to absolutely everything, and that creates a massive toxic mix. So again, if the gut's talking to the brain via the vagus nerve, you can see how that and we can feel really, really anxious, but that's probably coming from our gut, not from what's happening on the outside of us. If the environment around us is depleted, and I'm talking of outside of us now, and if the environment is full of toxins and we're inhaling lots of exhaust fumes, and if we're constantly stressed and eating a poor repetitive diet, it will undoubtedly have an effect on our gut. And any imbalances that occur in our gut are reflected throughout our body and put a strain on our mental health.
What can we do to ensure a healthy gut, and importantly, how do we maintain it?
Well, there's a whole bunch of things that we can do to improve and maintain our gut health, because it responds really, really quickly to the food that we eat. So in an ideal world, for us to be really healthy, the world around us has to be healthy too. But while we can't save the planet single-handedly, we can, from the point of view of self-care, there's a huge amount that we can do for ourselves. So what we choose to eat can really alter the balance of our gut. It goes back to that old boring thing about our diet. But I think the youngsters have really, really grasped the importance of climate change. And if we can also visualise that from inside us as well, I do believe that the youngsters are going to be the ones that really get on board with this. It just simply means you have to eat whole foods, things that haven't been processed, things that are remaining as they were when they were grown. And every edible fruit, vegetable, nut, seed, herb on the planet, as well as eggs, fish, meat and milk, are all what we call whole foods. So it is just a case of eating lots and lots of whole foods. But the main thing that our bodies aren't getting now, and I think 70 to 80% of the population are guilty of this, is we just do not eat enough fibre. Because remember, those gut bacteria are right at the lower end of our digestive tract, in our bowel really, and it's those ones that are being starved. And so it's fibre that we need to eat, and fibre is just literally plants. It's plant, vegetables, nuts, beans, pulses, all of those things. It's vital though that the fibre survives the digestive process, so that this is the bit that I find fascinating. The microbes in our gut, we can't digest fibre. As a human being, we cannot digest fibre. So the fibre goes all the way down our digestive tract to these bugs at the bottom. They digest the fibre, and then it's what they then discharge that actually feeds us and makes us healthy. So it's that bit that's missing in nearly all of us now.
Just one last question. What is one habit or hobby that you've picked up during lockdown?
Keeping with the gut theme, I've been doing quite a lot of fermenting, because fermented foods are really, really good for the gut. And so I've had enough time to actually investigate that and have quite a lot of fun with it.
Thank you for your time today, Dawn.
No, you're very welcome.
Talking to me.